All right, we're rolling.
Hold on.
Sorry, I started it as you were drinking.
Let's talk about what's one of the most asked questions from instructors, especially new instructors.
Yeah, without fail, every call I get, well, what course should I create?
What course should I create? Exactly.
Which makes sense. And I know you and I always say start with, we can help you, we can guide you. There's reports that you will show, but what are you good at? What is your expertise? It's got to stem from there, and then we can expand.
So I'm an asset accounting guy, so that's one thing that I know really, really well. So if I wanted to create a new course, that's where I start, because that's what I know really well. And then I think about, well, what are the most common issues that my consulting clients had?
Good question.
Answer some of those common issues, common questions. But to help you a little more, we created actually a bunch of cool reports that I wanted to show you. So from your dashboard, instructor dashboard, go to reporting, and then these 3 market intelligence reports here at the bottom. They will help you figuring out what your next course or topic is, or format. And I think you want to start with the community insights report.
Yeah.
You can run it by default. It runs for the last 3 months, but you can also run it for all time. But I think it's more useful for the last 3 months. And you see here what SAP topics or areas have students enrolled in over the last 3 months. That kind of gauges interest level. Gives you an idea of where people enroll in courses. So, for example, logistics is usually a huge area, very broad.
Yeah, look at that. That's
basic skills, and it's funny. I mean, the basic skills are so important. No matter what job you have in SAP, everybody needs to have those basic skills, right?
True.
And financials comes in as a third, and then all the other things. And then also, this other side here shows you in what of these areas have we created courses? Well, not we, our instructors. Where have instructors created courses in the last 3 months? And like right now, the last 3 months, a lot of people have created personal development courses. We're in this whole COVID mess right now. So people were looking for how to deal with stress, how to work from home, how to be a better manager, right? All of the courses fall in this personal development category. So it's not a surprise that a lot of people, a lot of instructors added content in those areas. And they were very smart. They have done very, very well in the last few months. So that will tell you, what area to focus on. If you go down a little bit here in the report, this one shows you the students by course level, like beginner, intermediate, expert. Notice that beginner is 63, 27, what's that? It's 80. Is that 91? 90?
Yeah.
89, something like that. See, I'm not a math teacher.
I was counting on my fingers.
The point, though, is that, don't knock the basics, right? A lot of people need beginning content. So there is a market for very advanced stuff, of course, and there always will be. But man, the basics go a long way.
Yeah. That's impressive.
The next one surprised me a little bit. This is students grouped by course length. In general,
me too.
Especially new instructors, we tell them, start with a small course, right? Something produce very easily. The minimum length for us is what, a half hour?
Yeah, half hour. And that's you don't have a lot of time, you want to get your feet wet. I usually say the same, start with 30-minute course, an hour course. It sounds like a platitude, but it really does get easier. So second courses, maybe that's 3-4 hour course. But I'm quite surprised on this. I think maybe it's the millennial in me that's like, 4 hours. But obviously, that's what's popular.
I wonder if this had anything to do with the pandemic. We have seen usage rates from this year, I think, this year, April, May, June. April through June, we have seen usage rates increase by 300%
Yeah, that's
for
crazy.
the last year. That's crazy, right? That's insane
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, people are at home more. They don't spend 2 hours on the road anymore commuting, so they have a lot of time to
Yeah.
work. So maybe that's one of the reasons why people really flock to these longer, meatier courses.
Mm-hmm.
But just like you said, don't diss the short 1 hour courses because a lot of people still like those too. They just
Yeah.
want to do something real quick, something very focused, that they can learn in an hour and then use that same afternoon at work.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and if you keep going down, then you'll see the top trending courses for the last 3 months. Gives you another indication of, what are people enrolling in, right? What are they really looking for?
Yeah, a lot of basic skills, like you said.
Yeah. If you go back to the reporting page, so that was the Community Insights report. If you go to the search log report, that one is really gold. So Community Insights displays this really nicely in chart form, infographic form, but the search log report shows you exactly what people type into the search boxes on our website. You can run it for a range of months. Let me just run it for August. So right here, you see, what do people type into the search box? Right here on top, right here. What do people type in that field?
That's very helpful.
This is really cool. So this really shows
Mm-hmm.
what people are looking for. So you can see people look for Fiori. Anything with Fiori seems to be pretty hot right now.
Yeah.
SAP is a pretty generic term, honestly. But anything related to ABAP, very interested. We've had a lot of ABAP courses lately. FICO, I think, is always up there. Accounts payable. I think materials management has been here on the top 10 list for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But this changes quite frequently. So if you look at this list for next month, you'll see a bunch of different books here.
Very true. I was gonna say, I don't think I've seen Ariba
Yeah, Reba, interesting. I
before.
think that really has something to do with the pandemic because all these companies, their logistical supply chain was under duress. Right?
Yeah.
I couldn't buy toilet paper here in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So suddenly all these companies wake up and say, we have to improve our supply chain, and in SAP, supply chain is handled through Ariba, right, as one of the external tools. So I'm not surprised that this has generated more interest lately.
Yeah.
If you go down a little further, this one's interesting. Take that one with a grain of salt, though, but it says this one are all the search phrases that people typed in that didn't return any search results, where our system said, sorry, I don't have anything for this.
Nothing. Yeah.
Some of this stuff has some gobbledygook in here, so I wouldn't worry about this. But for example, here, somebody, several people, 2% of all visitors have entered PLM. It's true. We don't have a PLM course.
Mm.
Right? So if you're an instructor and you know PLM, and I would go like, oh, I can
Go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be the only one with a PLM course, right? Or IS Utilities. We don't have a course for that either. All right. So some of these things are really gold for instructors that know that particular topic. You're in closing guides. Very, very smart. Right. So year in closing for most companies is coming up in 4 months, right? And that could be year in closing for financial accounting, for controlling, for fixed assets, for materials management. So they all have their own year in closing processes. So not surprised that people start looking for this already.
Makes sense. Yeah. No, so there's some gold in there. Like you said, there's some gobbledygook. Don't create a course on Fiori ? Success bar 1, but there's some gold in there.
Yeah, I don't know where that comes from. the internet. You can go to the next page, so there's a lot more than just the first 10, right? So MDG, Master Data Governance, same thing. That's an area where we're kind of light.
Mm-hmm.
HTTP, I should know exactly. That's something that we also don't have. So yeah, this is really an interesting list for people that know these areas. I can create content for this, absolutely. Remember that we don't have any courses for these terms. So even if you create, a short 1-hour overview course for SAP HTTP,
yeah,
remember you'd be the only one that would show up. So
True.
pretty cool. And then if you scroll down a little further, that gives you, the top part was only for August, right? I searched just for August.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom list here shows you the 100 top 100 search terms of all times. Right?
Very nice.
So
And Fiori is just taking the cake.
and these three, I think they're, this is always kind of the same. It's always Fiori, HANA, purchasing. It's amazing. So if you create any content in these areas, you're golden too. You can't
You're
go.
set. Mm-hmm.
Actually, for the top 10.
True.
But yeah, so this is a really cool report, the search log report. If you go back, there's one more, not so much a report, it's actually just our hot sheet or hot SAP topics list. Click on it, it'll open a Word document. We update this document once a quarter, I think, right?
Yep. Yeah, once a quarter. And I email this out when I first, so I'm sure people are familiar with this document. It's something that I will send to you after we first talked, but like you said, we update it. And even yesterday, we talked about adding foreign language courses. So it is a living document.
So on our website, we know what people type into the search words, right? We can analyze all the content that was added. But what we also do is, of course, we have a bunch of corporate customers that we talk to. And sometimes these corporate customers tell us, that, ooh, we're live with that other thing, with Ariba next month. So we really need Ariba courses, right? So that makes us put these things on the list, right? Because we know there's corporate demand for this stuff that's not visible anywhere on the website. So that's why you wouldn't see
Good
that.
point.
So yeah, so you and I talked about, we really need to start adding more foreign language courses, right? So we're going to start putting that on this list. So take a look at this hot list. Again, once a quarter or so, we update this, or Claire, you send it out. Right? That helps with helping you figure out what course to create next.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always tell people, I mean, you can bounce ideas off of me. If I then am not confident in my answer, I'll contact Leslie or maybe Thomas in rare circumstances. But with all of these insights, with your expertise, you're leading the charge on what courses to create.
Exactly. And 99.9% of the times, we think like, yeah, this is good, right? We had a few courses where that's not going to be a good topic for our audience. Right? Because we also don't want instructors to spin their wheels and create content and spend all their time and expertise on this if we already know that, yeah, our audience is not going to.
Yeah.
Our audience is not going to take cat yoga courses. Right? So.
I wish, my dream. No, my dream would be dog yoga.
Dog yoga. All right, yeah. So that's best practices for what course to create next.
Yeah. I love them. And they're easy to access, right on the dashboard.
Right.
You run them every day if you're bored.
All right.
Thank you. Good insight.
Ciao.
Bye.